So I'm gonna try to get a new USB dock, which I hope might solve the issues of the mic muting itself every now and then. For now, I'm just gonna try to pay attention to the levels, which are right in front of me. And if it gets muted, it's easy, very easy to unmute it, but it doesn't get. It's not getting muted because I'm hitting it or anything like that. I don't know. It's a weird thing. I think the USB dock might just be faulty in some way. So we are here. Let me link the stream. Find it on my phone. Link it to a few people. Let's see here. Sometimes it takes a minute to show up in places. Hey, Doodles. Yeah. Yeah, how about that, right? I just took that. I had this idea very soon after I read the chapter. I was like, I know what I'm doing for this thumbnail. And I think it turned out pretty well. So, let me link it in the chat. In the Discord. Alright, the play button's covering my face, so that spare many people from the worst of it. So, this is the stream for chapter 22. It's, you know, I tend to do these like a little earlier, but I think last month's was also like 5 or so days after the chapter, so it really just, it's whenever I just find the right time to do it and whenever I'm in the mood to do it. I think this might be the first stream I've ever done on a Saturday night, which is also a rare thing. But I didn't want to wait. I didn't know if I was going to want to do it Sunday or Monday night, so I said Saturday is going to work best. I plan to start a little earlier. I said on Discord closer to 10:15. That didn't happen because I was playing this game, Botany Manor, which I knew I was really close to beating, so I just decided I beat it. It only took like 15 more minutes than I thought. And that's a pretty cute game. It's a first-person puzzle game, which is a subgenre of games that I like a lot. And it's very short and mostly kind of logic puzzles. You have to solve puzzles and activate things in the environment in a certain way in order to grow pretty flowers. They're special flowers, you know. So there's flowers that react to sound. There's flowers that react to light. That is positioned in a certain way, to certain colors. And things like that. So it's a nice game, but I think maybe after this stream, I might get right into what is, I think, kind of another first-person puzzler, but maybe I'm not quite sure how much it really utilizes the first-person view and how much interactability there is with the environment. But I've heard great things about it, which is Return of the Obra Dinn. I'm very excited to get to that. It was on sale on the PS Store, so I decided to pick it up, and I may get to that after the stream. I'm not seeing any other messages in the chat, so I might still be waiting for people to come on by. Doing for this thumbnail. Volume's good. So, I don't know, what's going on in the Zatch Bell sphere? God, every day I think about playing Tawakizu and I don't. That's how I am with mobile games, and I love Zatch Bell to death, and I hate the thought that this, like, invalidates my fan card, you know? But, I mean, I've said it a million times at this point. There's, like, a real disconnect just not being able to understand the language at a basic level that makes the game, to my brain, even though to many, in many aspects, is completely worth it. At my core, I feel it makes me feel like it's not worth it, and I know that, even though I want to push myself to play, and I will get back into it. I didn't even do any of the Xeno Laila event. I got Laila, and that was it. I picked up Laila. I do think I will get back to the game at some point, and I'm always, I'm checking in on it, seeing what's up. But it's a lot, I'm glad I got the time that I got with it. I enjoyed the time that I had with it. I'm not really interested, too much in getting into another gacha, and that combined with the language barrier is just kind of what made it you know, made me not very attracted to it. But, you know, I've talked about this before. The Golden Memories, that was the same reason I quit Golden Memories. But Golden Memories, I love the gameplay, what I could play of it, and so I was definitely in that for at least twice as long as I was actively playing Tawakizu. But it's great that the game's out there. I know they added Alm, who's one of my favorites, one of my favorite Remoto from the original show. I don't know how known this is, that I wrote a fan fiction about Alm and Gelios starting a band together. That was on the old DBCCG forums, and this was, as you might think, more of a comedy-focused thing. In my mind, I was going to turn it into a more serious story, but I mean, you know, I was young, and I was not the kind of person who could devote the time to writing that. But I liked the ideas I had. Gelios, you know, Gelios does not have arms. So they would wrap their tongue, which was like a forked tongue, around, I think it was a bass guitar. Or maybe it was just regular guitar. And then and play the guitar with the tongue. That was the idea. And there were other crazy things that happened. So I do like Alm. I would like to get Alm in the game, but I don't have any gems. So it's probably not going to happen. I have very few gems. You weren't able to get him, yeah. I love that design. Like, if I was Raikou, I would have him be one of the chosen Momoto to bring back in this in this thing. And he's cool. Like, you know, he leaves an impression in that arc over someone like Dalmos or any of the three that they fought, that Patty sent to fight Zatch and Tia, who all have cool designs. Erojo and the others. Alm, I think, leaves more of an impression than a lot of them. I like Alm, you know, more than Sauron, you know. So, anyway, let's get on with this chapter. Oh. He never leaves my couch now. He's always here. Ponygon Puppet, which I knew there was a sort of a different one made by a different brand. Doodles posted this on the Discord recently. There was a listing on, was it eBay, I think, for that one. And that one has legs. I kind of feel like that one doesn't overall look as nice as this, though. From the picture. I don't know. This one's. I'm perfectly fine with this one. Let me turn the ceiling fan on up here. Getting warm here in Florida in the summer. Who'd have thought? Who'd have expected that, huh? Okay, so let's get started on this chapter. So last we left off, Zatch and Kyo were starting to fight Blue and Bobby, who of course will be played by Ponygon once again. And it seemed like a pretty straightforward fight, you know? They're going to use some spells. They're going to go spell to spell, which is generally how Zatch Bell fights work, except we've seen some different things more recently. And so we start in the midst of that. They use Rosario Gita Root, which I think they used at the end of the last chapter. So as we discussed, this is a plant spell which would either be shared by Sujina or Kalura, the Millennium Momoto, or both of them. I definitely think that Sujina or Sujino, if you watch the dub, could probably be able to unlock that spell. Kyo and Zatch seem to make short work of that with his Zakare. Zakare is very strong now. But Blue can command the spell to regenerate. And I have a feeling this is probably an aspect of this spell that is not simply part of something that Blue is doing. Blue is not really a sorcerer type, as we will find out later. So I have a feeling that this spell likely can just do this, no matter who uses it. It can regenerate. You have to destroy it pretty widely to fully destroy it. So they do that with Zakarga. They burn that stuff to a crisp. She says, keep regenerating. It doesn't work too well. So then Bobby casts a spell, Gigano Garom, which, this is, I think, another Marus or Mars spell. And I love all these crazy big metal designs that Raikou does. So this is just a massive hammer with a front that I think it maybe spins. And he's going to try to wham this down on Zatch and Kyo. This is just these are some nicely drawn pages. Zatch and Kyo both dodge skillfully. And the hammer just smashes into the ground. Right, Guido Rook. That is Karudio spells that are ice spells. That is true. That might be an oversight from Raikou, I wonder. I wonder if anyone's pointed that out to him. Because, you know, Guido Rook, I would assume in the context of this spell, would refer to its ability to regenerate. Because Rook is transforming. That seems like it would make sense. But then they've already used Guido Rook as a ice spell. So that is a good thing to mention. Okay. Come on! They dodge Gigano spell without using any spell! You're relentless, Kiyomaru-kun. Sorry about the mess, Dr. Riddles. We'll take this battle outside. You think I'll just stand by and let you escape? They rush outside. Whew, they leap into the air. Blue uses Uruk! And she knows where they're going to be. So she immediately points up and is going to cast another spell. She goes, Giga! And then she notices something. And it is a strange silhouette, which is Kyo on top of Zatch's mantle, but there's no Zatch. And we don't really know if Zatch just kind of threw this up, or if he controlled it with his mind somehow, with the fabulous secret mantle powers that they have. We don't know. But it worked very well as a diversion. Kyo casts Zakaraga, and Zatch is in the bushes. And Blue gets hit pretty point blank with the Zakaraga. And this is, you know, a rare sight of a cloakless Zatch fighting. I'm not sure if we've ever seen this before. Because cloakless Zatch in the first series would have been naked Zatch. So that would have been strange to have him fight in that way. So I think this is the first time we're seeing it. Something I want to mention on the previous page that some people have discussed already is that, hilariously, when Blue is going to cast the spell, the syllable that she says is Giga. And this is sort of an infamous thing in the Zatch Bell community for how in the anime dub, Dufort says Giga when he's going to destroy Rops' spellbook, but he's interrupted, I think, by Zeno. And then it was discovered that in the original Japanese, he doesn't say Giga, he says Shigao. And there was a video, which, you know, Shigao just means, like, wrong or incorrect. It's used in a lot of it's used very frequently. And there was a pretty funny video that highlighted this that was shared a lot pretty much back when the anime was airing. Correct. Cloakless Zatch fighting only really happened against Papyri and Zoberon. I remember him taking off his shoes. I don't remember him taking off his cloak, but I'm betting it was controlled. Yeah, I mean, I would think that, but then, like, are we going to see him use that more? I hope so. So anime dub, Viz manga, and the no fan translation. I mean, Viz manga makes sense because they're probably just trying to stick to the dub. Null is pretty surprising, but maybe he also just for some reason was referring to the dub on that. But yeah, the Giga thing is there's a lot apparently. And now it's being codified. It's canon. So Blue gets hit with that Zakaraga. She gets blasted away, rolling. Raikou loves showing people, like, rolling. Sometimes he does it in a funny way. Sometimes not so funny, like now. But Bobby goes, Blue! And he jumps on her and grabs her and shields her from the spell. Gets hit by it. Garanzu Shirudo! So I think this is another Maru spell that gets almost instantly destroyed by Zakaraga. Very powerful. We don't even see it fully formed. We just immediately cut to it being destroyed. So they both get blasted away. Kyo floats down like Mary Poppins, and Zatch's mantle drops on top of him. This would be very nice to watch in an anime, this bit. And so seems like they're doing pretty dang well against these two. Blue is pretty mad. How dare you make such a fool out of me? And she's up instantly. Go, my flowers! Barumu Rosaria! A bunch of roses spawn around them. You sort of see the sound effects of them all kind of moving against each other. I just watched a Macbeth adaptation last night where there is the prophecy that the two woods will meet, that the one forest will come to the other forest. And Macbeth says, well, that's never going to happen. A forest can't move. But then there's the king who tells his army, cut down, a branch or a group of branches from each of these trees. And we're going to use them as a cover. And that's what this is. And that's how the forest moved in that play. I said Macbeth, right? I didn't say Hamlet, did I? I'm talking about Macbeth. And so, yeah, this spell is, it's not an attack spell, and it's not necessarily a shield spell either. I believe the spell's purpose is pretty much as Kyo says. She's trying to block our view. This is like Pyrrho's smokescreen spell. I think that... Doesn't Ryu have a weird spell where there's like this beast thing that encloses the enemy? I forget if that's a shield and it encloses him, or if it encloses the enemy, in which case it would be something similar to this. Right, it would be Bloom Rosaria. I was going to mention that. Yeah, that's pretty clear. Raikou sometimes uses words that are very close to English in the spells. And yes, when I read the spell, I thought, of course, that word is kind of supposed to be bloom. And all these roses are blooming. Right, he attached Tia to his back. Okay. Tia's going to be punched by Hige? Wow, what a jerk. Something's coming, Gash. We don't have much time. Be ready for anything. Hebi Garanzu! So this is another Maru spell. And this is an interesting one because, we've seen Gigano Garanzu, which looks kind of similar to this. But this is kind of maybe a bit bigger and more angular. And what it makes me think of is a train, especially the bottom bit coming out. It's sort of like the bottom of some trains, but except that it has that on all sides. Now, Hebi in Japanese, I believe means snake. I don't know if Raikou would be that blatant with it. And the spell doesn't seem particularly snake-like, but I suppose trains do somewhat resemble snakes. And, you could say the spell resembles an open mouth in some form as well. We don't entirely see if the spell has a length to it. But this is another spell name that I think is kind of a mystery. And this one will be Heavy Garanzu, you think? Okay, that's interesting. Okay, and that is a shield spell for Ryu. Weird shield, but I always like that design where it's all around. It's like a head with a mouth, but the mouth is all around the head. We're about to see some pretty weird mouth later in this chapter. Gotcha! Full power! Ram through shield! So Kyo and Zatch have cast her shield, fully powered up her shield with 3 lightning symbols on it. And they're having some trouble here, but it's staying. The shield's staying up. Zatch is doing his I'm a movie director thing. Straight holding the shield up. They're both yelling. Kyo's exerting that hard power. Torune Rudo! Wigar! Cool splash page here of the one spell coming at them horizontal. Then blue above, casting this Wigar spell above them. This clearly is a high-level Wigar. Gigano level or above, clearly the word, once again, Toru Nerudo, is supposed to be like tornado. Now, I know the Rudo spell ending, if I recall, usually implies a spell that has like a high level of control from the spellcaster. So maybe if the occasion happened that, say, Kyo and Zatch were going to dodge this, she could maybe move the spell to catch them. But I don't know. That's just speculation. Paper football, is that... Oh, that's Zatch's hand sign, right? So this spell also looks very similar, as you would think, to one of Barry's higher level spells like Gigano's Onis, because they're both wind spells, but this is a slightly different type. Barry's attribute, I don't know if it has a name. I think the wiki maybe used to call it like a vortex or something, but I don't think that's official. But, you know, he had the sort of purple wind, and this is just regular wind. But we've never seen this spell before. This is a pretty high-level spell. But this is another cool page. So, Resealed finally starting to break. Gash, aim upward. Zakarga! And the spell's right about to hit him, but they hit it with a full power Zakarga. They go real hard on this one. They're holding it back. They are very strong. They are not messing around. Kyo is really that... Spellbook is shining. And they're winning. They win this little struggle. The Zakarga blast up through the tornado spell and is even about to hit Blue. Blue gets hit. She's getting shocked a little bit. If I can just manage to win this and Zatch disappears, then Dr. Riddles won't have to die. She looks pretty emotional when she says this. All right, you're correcting me, Raze. I know. Oru suggests control the spell. All right. I know you didn't, you you don't mean anything by it. I just should have been more, I should have done my homework a little better before this stream. Now, Rudo is used in several spells, right? So I assume that means something. But I know it's used in, Rev Rudo, which is just a shield. So, I don't know. But yeah, Oru, which, is there an Oru Wigar? Because does Zabas have Wigar spells? What are his spells? Okay, anyway, so she doesn't want to kill Dr. Riddles. We could tell she was a nice person. And she's saying, please just let me kill you, because then he won't have to die. But she gets hit by Zakarga, which doesn't even really seem like it has lost any potency from being in this spell clash. And she is falling to the ground, but Bobby, also being a pretty good guy, catches her. Give me a break. Those guys got through bigger spells with just mid-level spells. So Kyo and Zatch, both breathing heavily. It's been a tough battle so far, but it's been a pretty conclusive battle. If this were to continue as it has been going, seems like Kyo and Zatch would pretty clearly have the win. Dr. Riddles was right about you. You're both good people. It's probably one of the better Zatch moments we've had in the series so far. It feels like he hasn't talked that much. He hasn't had, like, too many moments to really shine as himself. So it's nice to see stuff like this, We know his intent now, as the benevolent king, is to, even though these people are his enemies, to try to do his best to save them. And he might have noticed this, probably would have, even if Dr. Riddles hadn't told them about this. It's funny to see this really full-on view of his face, where, he's changed so little face-wise from how he, when he was 6. So it's kind of funny. Like, I don't know if the shape has changed at all, frankly. I don't know what Raikou is doing to make him look older. Right now, if you cut out the collar, this could be the same guy. This could be the same kid. But it seems like one of Raikou's rules with the character designs in the series is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So he hasn't changed some character designs all that much, yes. Zabas does have Oru Wigar. Got him at least right about that. And we don't know what Rudo means. Okay, that's interesting. Does, what's his name know what it means? I'm forgetting his name now, the Spanish-speaking YouTuber. Okay. But what did you mean by that? You were saying something about Dr. Riddles dying if you couldn't beat me in this fight. Hey, you over there. Your name's Bobby, right? This battle's just about over, so isn't there any way we can save Dr. Riddles? Nope. only way to get rid of Reaper Butterfly is for Blue to die instead. If she dies or gets sent back to Demon World, butterflies might go back with her. But only way to go back to Demon World is if we succeed in hunt, or if one of us gets killed. In that case, Bobby, will you please die in my place? I was gonna say in my face. He was like, seriously? Don't wanna. So this is a really funny moment from Zatch. I would say he has learned well from Kyo in the ways of just being very savage and kind of a jerk. I don't think we should take this moment too seriously. I think it is just a funny little thing of Zatch saying, I don't know what's on his mind, and doing what Kyo might do in that situation. Yeah, there might be a change in his hair. It does seem bigger, but then even in the original series, it got bigger towards the end. Raikou would draw it with like more volume, as a hair stylist might say. It ain't most honorable way to live, but me have my reasons. So here we get a shot of his very strange weapon, which, as we talked about last chapter, kind of appears to be a living thing. It has eyes and a nose. But I don't know how much more we're going to learn about that. Well, it was worth a shot. Hold on. I have a question for you. So who's the sorcerer of this pair? Neither one of you look like you fit the role. In all our battles up to now, there was always a sorcerer mixed in. So this is interesting that I don't remember if they've been referred to as sorcerers before now. But I've referred to them as that. Oh, Garglemesh, thank you so much. You interrupted the movie just for me? This is kind of, if as long as you're here, why I chose not to be on the stream with you guys tonight, because I wanted to get this done tonight. You guys can't see the chapter, so you don't even can read along. I can link it in the chat if you want to read along here. This is the page we're currently on. But thanks for tuning in, even if just for, you can go back to the movie, but even just for a little bit, thanks for checking it out. Zatchbell Gamer says, I think it was a gag. Yeah, like I said, yeah. Oh God, no, she's coming. Yeah, she is coming. This is some classic Raikou comedy right here coming up. What currently is kind of a pretty serious moment. Okay. Guess you noticed. You right. Sorcerer still rolling by. We still completed task, though. We couldn't beat you with vial spells. Another thing, I've been referring to these as vials the whole time. They could have said bottles, they could have said jars, but no, they said the thing that I was using. And I feel like sorcerer was kind of the same way, but if they used sorcerer as a term earlier in the series, I might have just forgot. We couldn't beat you with vial spells, but we still did our part. And suddenly this huge thing, it looks like just like a buzzsaw, slashes through the plants. So, yeah, Garglemesh and anyone else who's watching this, I feel like maybe you've watched one or two of these before. It's not it's not a live reaction. I've read these chapters already, but I like going through them and, reading them again and giving commentary as I go. I have a Polygon puppet, which, since Polygon is not in this series yet, I am using him to voice other characters. So, so this big buzzsaw thing comes through. Here comes high class sorcerer. So this voice is not good for me. Behold, rolling witch. Just try not to laugh. Whatever you do, don't laugh. So immediately after this, we see this very strange figure. Raikou felt this chapter's too serious. There's not enough comedy. We need something real nutty. We need something real crazy. Specifically with this character, I almost get the feeling like, I don't know if they knew what this character was going to be or look like until he was drawing this page. But we see this person coming in. It's even hard to tell if it's just one person or if it's a group of people. But it is one person. Go rolling witch! Spinning around. It's not a buzzsaw. It is a person flinging themselves over and over and over on a gymnastics bar. It's a woman in swimwear. And she starts singing. Or rapping? I don't really know. So I normally do the any musical parts. I try to do my best with them, because why else am I putting myself out here doing the videos if not for this? So let's try this. I can't, this seems more like a rap to me. I can't really imagine exactly how it goes, but let's try it. Zoot-sutan, zoot-sutan, zoot-taka-tan-tan-tan-zoot. Dream about that rolling thunder, faster, harder, rolling thunder. Round and round you stare in wonder, drinking the power of the rolling thunder. The magical first shot rolling witch. So they are quite an accomplished gymnast. And Dr. Riddles is seeing this. He wouldn't pass up a chance to see this. And he seems to find it pretty funny. What's so funny, Grams? You better not be laughing at me. Hey. You said you're the magical first shot rolling witch. So what the heck is first shot supposed to mean? Zatch is also trying not to laugh. What do you think? First shot, like a first shot kill. Everybody knows what that means. Come on, you know the intonation and the rhythm. It's from that first shot fight. Lipovitan D, commercial on TV. So I know that Raikou originally got this incorrectly. He either used the wrong product name or a made-up product name, and then realized he wanted to change it to their real product, which I guess this is referencing. Because if he wants to just put in a weird character to reference a TV commercial, he's going to do that. All right. Now let's all say it together. On my signal, the magical starts spinning once again. First shot. First shot. Everyone's saying it together. And okay. So, not to take anyone's, fan card away, but if you're reasonably seasoned in Zatch Bell, you should know exactly what's about to happen right now. When I saw these last couple panels, these last few panels on this page, I would have bet a substantial amount of money on what was about to happen next. And as expected, immediately she's starting to do the ad again. Depovita Zakerga. Not even just Zakar this time. Full on Zakerga. Right in the middle of the thing. While she's spinning, the spinning is apparently cuts through plants. It's not defensive. Spinning is not defensive. She gets shocked, as expected. What else would Kyo do in this situation? Were you linking something, Zatchbell Gamer? I don't see something in the chat. I don't know if you're allowed to link it. I saw an ad. I saw the ad you linked in the Discord. It didn't seem to me too similar to how I imagine the thing would sound. They weren't even really rapping or singing or anything. So, I don't know. At this point, I might want to get the picture, because I'm going to show this. This is something I should have done beforehand. I totally forgot about it. Of what the Rolling Witch is referencing. Now, when this character appeared, and now I don't know if I think this is like the funniest character. Like, I was enjoying the chapter as it was, and Raikou's comedy. How do I say it? It tends to be maybe a little funnier to me the less non sequitur it is. When it's more situational and part of what's happening is funnier to me than when he just has a random thing coming out of nowhere, which is like very much what this is. But it's certainly unexpected. And when I saw this, I was like, okay, I know Raikou. He makes a lot of random references, a lot of random visual references that aren't understood until much later. This includes Pirio being a reference to Leonardo DiCaprio, for instance. And there are other things that have been speculated, like how Clear Note's name combined with his sort of slender male model-like appearance might be some sort of weird reference to Death Note. But those are things that now, no one can really substantiate that. Like, there's no evidence for that. Like, no one really knows what's going on in his head. But when I saw this character, I was like, well, this has to be a reference to something. And I did some looking, and I found some stuff that was pretty promising, but not enough to mention on the server. I was looking for curly-haired gymnasts who were well-known in Japan, and I found a curly-haired gymnast of Japanese descent who is A, popular, and B, has a TV commercial where she does a bunch of flips down a street. However, she's Canadian and not known in Japan. I tried looking up this person's name in Japanese. I did not find anything, so I dismissed that. I said, yes, it would be cool if I was correct. That's not it. I know that's not it. And so I was really wondering, well, what could this be a reference to? And I'd sort of given up. I tried searching American Gladiators stuff because I thought it looked kind of like something from that show. I was like, was there a Japanese version of American Gladiators? Yes, there was. It was a long time ago, and I didn't see anything that looked similar to this. So I kind of gave up, and I thought, well, I still feel like maybe it's a reference. We don't know what to. But then Yorogi, who is, a long standing member of the fandom, posted this image one day, and I would love to know how he found it. I honestly don't. He did his work there somehow and found it, and so in saying all that, I downloaded the image and got it up here, and the Rolling Witch is this Miley Cyrus. Not even an album cover, but a single cover. You can really tell. It's pretty much the exact swimsuit. It has these little, rips on both sides. You can see it if you look close. It's on both sides. She's got the sunglasses. She's got this. You can kind of tell it seems like it's suspended in midair. This is something I had never seen. I didn't know what this song... You know what? I guess this is that Flowers... This is a pretty popular song. Because she does have a song that mentions flowers, so that must be it. I have heard the song. I just, I don't connect, Yeah. I have heard the song. I'm just moving this around. I don't know. So, this was kind of incredible. Raikou saw this, some reason put it in the series as an enemy. As a joke. Why? I don't know. I don't know. But it's crazy. Oh, you think that Yorogi might have gotten this from the other server? I guess that would make sense. Miley would probably have some fans there. So now we know. The Rolling Witch also has these big, beefy forearms with these tattoos on them, which kind of seems like, more obviously a Popeye reference as well. But I think Miley does have some tattoos on her arms. But why this is in here, I don't know. And your mileage may vary on the how comedic it is. But we're getting back into the chapter. Kyo says, let's just use this one as a sacrifice instead. They're still shocking the Golden Witch, and then something grabs the spell and immediately sort of seems to stop it, nullify it. And they're surprised. Then they hear this voice. Stop fooling around, Rolling Witch. Now, I planned to try to do this voice fully. I don't know how well I'm going to be able to do that since I've been doing Bobby's voice this whole time. I'll do my best here. But we see this terrifying, frankly, figure step into view from where we don't really know. Everyone in the scene is surprised. And it is just a classic crazy Raikou design. As creepy as the Rolling Witch is funny. A demonic body with, another classic Raikou trope. You can't really tell where, a design trope. You can't really tell where the body ends and the clothes begin. Looks like he has armor on his feet, but there's also pants. And he doesn't have any actual arms, at least it seems like he doesn't. He has a cape. But he has these big shoulder balls, kind of like Samus, that have these tentacles that come out. And these are like, he really made sure to design these tentacles in a gross way where you can see like these ridges that they have on them twist around. And these tentacles, this is kind of like the My Hero Academia character. I think his name is Toji, where he has different things on the end of his tentacles. There's ones with mouths, there's one with claws, there's ones with eyes. And a bunch of these are just coming out of these shoulder balls. And his face is actually fairly humanoid. He has hair that looks pretty human. And his face looks like it maybe could have been human at some point, but it was changed. We don't know if this was before his death or after his revival by Belial. But it's his eyes and nose seem to have been damaged and stitched together in some way. And it seems like he has no lips. He just has this weird dark mouth area, which, you know, we don't know if that's like bone or if it is actually black or if it's just kind of shadowed. You know, it's artistic. But this is a crazy... This I did not expect to see, you know, after the Rolling Witch comedy hour. I was like, okay, where is this going? Then this other guy comes in who's like, whoa, okay, it just shocks you back into caring about, you know, these characters, whether they're in danger again. I think he stepped through a portal. I think he stepped right out of the shadows. Yeah, we don't know. It's both are possible. But Bobby, please, Bobby, stop talking for me. I love you, and I love using the puppet, but... Him? I can't do it. I can't do it. I have issues. I said this last time. Bobby, you gotta stop. I'm not doing a voice anymore, but I will read it. When you get here, me didn't even hear you. Who the hell is this now? He was hiding away this whole time? We still completed task, though. The task you mentioned. Could it be? They were distracting us, pushing me to use up as much of my heart energy as possible. So I'd have no way to cast spells when the true threat reared its ugly head. So I like this. Another example of the villains changing up their strategies, being intelligent. Just, you know, getting them with numbers. Yeah. So I like that. These are the real enemies. The sorcerer is the Rolling Witch. And it seems like the monster, the combatant, is this guy Hem, which is a very interesting name. You know, in English, it refers to a part of a dress, but I don't know if I can do that. But this seems like, I would say, aside from Belial himself, the most imposing enemy in the series so far, even above the combined form of Zillion. Zatch Gamer says, Hem's appearance is the skeletal face, the armored legs, the bizarre arms, the cape. He reminds me so much of General Grievous. That's interesting. I don't know if he reminds me of anything. And his face alone resembles the Reaper from Assassination Classroom to me. I do remember that character. But there are characters that look like that with sort of, you know, the Red Skull from Marvel looks like that as well, with like the very visible teeth. How many more spells can I muster? How many Zakargas can we ration at this point? They might need to use something else, hopefully. Hem. I want to do it myself, but I guess I'll need to leave gas to you. Kill him so the doctor can live. Then I can take all the butterflies back to the demon world with me. Now, Blue must not know this guy very well. We don't know him very well either, but Blue certainly doesn't. Because it doesn't seem like he's a very nice guy. Not to Keo and Zatch, and not to Blue either. What nonsense is that? You will be the one to exterminate Gas in the end. And you'll do it by using a red butterfly. So Blue does not like hearing this. Wait 1 minute here, Hem. Why can't you beat him instead? Using red butterfly could kill Blue if she not careful. Yeah, I'm aware of that. He takes the spell thing off her, giving her no choice, essentially.
I'll take the reins. After she's fairest.
So he's making her do this. He's saying, you need to prove yourself. And he's pretty much about to say this in more detail.
Rolling Witch!
Throws the plant spell element at the Rolling Witch. It shatters, and Rolling Witch immediately starts using her sorcery by, of course, what else? Spinning around on this floating gymnastics bar. And we see these magical symbols appear, as we've seen when the sorcerers have used the Modo spell elements in, their way that they do. So we don't know what's coming, but it's probably something pretty big.
Blue. Valiel lent me their use of his eyes, so that I could see what was really going on here.
For Hem, I think his name might be the Hem like hemmed in, such as in Closing Song.
Imagine my surprise as I watch you enjoy the time you spent with that elderly man. You seemed so jovial and carefree. It was almost as if you truly believed you were free of your master as well. Now, Blue, I want to hear you say it. Who was it that gave you new life?
Belial.
To whom does your life belong?
Belial.
And in order to earn your freedom, what is it that you must do?
I must prove myself useful to Belial.
You must prove yourself exceptionally useful. That's right. Remember what you are. That is the face of a true underling.
Yes. He's making sure she knows her place by essentially just sacrificing her as a pawn and saying you have no choice. You're too nice. You're a wuss. Now you get what you get. Of course, Zatch is not going to stand for that.
Now go. You wouldn't want that doctor to keel over first, would you?
Blue starts sprouting wings of some sort. Her body's transforming. Q, Zatch, and Dr. Riddles are all very serious about this turn of events. The black butterfly is now expanding over Dr. Riddles Howard's face. Here we go. Red butterfly! She jumps at them in this red butterfly form. She's fully transformed. A little bit like how Levy did. It seems like essentially all of the monster cards, not the sorcerers, it seems like a lot of them have transformative abilities. Wade could transform into the big monster. Levy could transform into a monster form as well. We see Blue doing this. Pola is maybe an exception, but Pola could also transform into an armored form. It's not really physical body change, but he could do that. Gunther and his guy are kind of different though. But Belial might be giving them the alternate use of these forms or something. So her form does resemble a butterfly. She even has these cute little what looks like a headband with the antenna coming out. But the rest of it is pretty fearsome. It's got claws. No doubt it probably will pose a challenge, but of course Zatch and Kyo are not really going to want to defeat her. They are going to try to save her in some way. And that is where we end the chapter. Chapter 22. And man, we're like almost, I don't know, it took me a while to get through this reading. I think, we just had fun with it. We talked a lot about the chapter as it went on, which is interesting that it took this long because it's, it's not the most revealing chapter. There's no big story stuff. There's some interesting little tidbits like Belial granting Hem the use of his eyes. But beyond that, there's nothing really major that's done. I think a lot of us wanted to see Vivino at the end of this chapter. Vino has still not shown up. But frankly, I don't really care that much because this chapter was kind of a banger. Raikou is always a great fight choreographer in the manga style. And, I mean, there's just some really stunning pages in this chapter. That splash page of the tornado spell and Zatch and Kyo defending against the other spell. When it's coming at them. That's a great page, and there's just a lot of good art here. Hem's first appearance. If you're a fan of the crazy non sequitur style of comedy, well, hey, they got that too. And I really like this chapter a lot. So Zatch Bell Gamer says, Raiku's extremely good at making asshole villains who treat their minions so cruelly. I just got through reading about Oruga from Vector Ball, and I found such similar energy. Now, I didn't get that far in Vector Ball because when I was first reading it, there weren't that many chapters translated. So is Oruga the guy that looks a little like similar designs to Brago? Or is Oruga like the weird guy that just looks like a large lion man? I assume it's one of the two. Oruga is funny because it is one of Brago's spells. Oruga Race. So, what is there to talk about? So there is a little fear that I have that, and I expressed this last month, that Raikou is going to sort of follow the formula again of having the good guys almost lose and then someone rushes in to save them. But there is also a strong possibility that he won't do that because there are a couple cards on the table here. One of them is Vino, who I think is just a human. I think he would continue to be very powerful as a Momoto partner if he got another Momoto to use. They wouldn't. Zatch wouldn't appreciate that wording. Sorry, Zatch. And there is, of course, the Thunder Dragon Egg. This is this thing that presumably was asked for and probably given by Acheron to Zatch several chapters ago before this arc started, right before this arc started. And Zatch and Kyo presumably have this somewhere. We don't know if it's right on them. We don't know if it's nearby. It might not be with them. And in that case, they will either have to beat these enemies through a combination of just strategy, ingenuity from Zatch, Kyo, and Vino, and Dr. Riddles. And who knows what else, Maybe Blue will end up sacrificing herself to stop Hem for now. We don't really know what's going to happen. I just hope it is a little different from what we've been seeing in the series so far. And if it is, this is going to be one of the better arcs in the whole series so far. Which there have been, we had the introductory arc, we had Conchame's arc, we had Tia's arc, we had Brago's arc. This would be the fifth arc. So this would be up there with the first arc, which I think is still kind of the favorite. But Conchame's arc is also very good, and Tia's and Brago's have their great moments. There's a battle with Oruga and his team, and he mistreats them, resulting in righteous anger from the heroes. Raikou excels at that kind of story beat. They're going to be a tough fight, Doodle says, with that many opponents at once. Oh yeah. It looks like an uphill battle now that Hem and the Rolling Witch are on the scene. The Rolling Witch is prepping some kind of crazy plan attack. We need Kiddo, says Zatch Bell Gamer. Yeah, who knows if that's going to happen, they might possibly have access to Kiddo's spell element from back in the Momoto world. We don't know if they bought it over to the human world. We don't know if they bought Kiddo's soul to the human world, like they did with Brago's. My prediction is that Bobby will have a change of heart and sacrifice himself to save Blue somehow. Now, that does seem very possible. I think in order for that to happen, we need to learn a little bit more about Bobby and what his weapon is and maybe his relationship with Blue. But yeah, that seems maybe more likely than Blue sacrificing herself because Blue is, she's like main character material, But I'm not totally confident about it. I just have a strong feeling. So Kiddo, Gunther and his weird Frankenstein guy were using a Kiddo spell element that, I want to say it was you who mentioned it, Zatch Bell Gamer, on the server, that it was kind of attached to that monster's body, so we don't know if they were able to easily get it back. So who knows when we'll see Kiddo. I think we will see Kiddo. I think Raikou, I mean, I think it's almost a given. Like, we saw how the final climactic part with the Golden Book of the final fight of Zatch Bell went. I think it's sort of a given that pretty much everyone is going to come back in this series. There's just the kind of guy Raikou is, and it won't really piss me off. Like, I've expected since the very start. Many of them probably aren't dead. The ones who are dead will be brought back. They have a way to do it. I think, and possibly hope that there will be things in the series to show that there are higher stakes. But it doesn't have to be killing characters that we already know from the first series. And if it is, then it would be in a scene, in a big, big scene. It wouldn't be, oh, Kiddo's dead, and I guess can't bring him back. Sorry about that. Sorry, everybody. That's not how it's going to go. So, there are some questions there. Overall, I'm pretty optimistic about how this arc's going to go. I think there's going to be some curveballs. I think that next chapter we absolutely will see Vino. And I kind of hope we do, because I also don't think it's Raikou's style with this series to just do two chapters that are just kind of continuing the same fight. He likes to have twists and turns and big things happening, even in the middle of fights. You could say Hem's appearance is one of those things, but I think he'd want to do something bigger. And I think that would be the most obvious thing would be Vino's appearance. There's also, of course, the chance that the Thunder Dragon Egg will be used, and the speculation is that the Thunder Dragon Egg has within it the yellow dragon from the cover of Volume 1. Every month that passes without seeing this freaking dragon is just incredible. I don't know if anything quite like this has ever been done, where Raikou just not even tease something, right? There's something kind of similar with Hunter x Hunter, where there was a Hunter x Hunter volume cover that featured the character Kurapika with a visual of a dolphin behind him. And later, I believe much later after that volume, he shows off an ability that summons a weird sort of dolphin creature. However, we don't know if when Yoshihiro Togashi drew that volume cover that he knew that Kurapika was going to have a dolphin ability. He very well might have, but he also just might have associated that character with dolphins, and then later, because of that, gave him a dolphin ability. Zatch Gamer says, Chio, Megumi, Kanchime, and Fulgore are way too due for some page time. Yes. Surely they're next after this battle is over. Doodle says the ones that were signaled out in the Golden Book are the most likely. Yeah, no, I mean, they're all the characters that the fans know and love. Some of them will get bigger roles, some of them won't. But yeah, no, I think that Raikou does want to keep the stakes high, and he doesn't want to transition to much bigger battles with multiple good guys just yet. And, he's touched on it a little bit with, Zatch and Tia fighting at the end of that conflict. But we haven't really had a full team battle in this, and he is going to do that soon, I'm sure. But aside from that, there's not too much to say in this chapter. I think we said pretty much everything we need to as we were going through it. The Rolling Witch, I don't know what's going on with her chin. I don't know if that's another visual reference to something. But either Raikou is a Miley Cyrus fan, or he just thought it was very funny that she did not appear to be physically attached to anything on that single cover, and that made it all the way into the manga. So good for her. Yeah, I'm excited for the next chapter, whatever happens. It might be break time coming up. We don't know. Victorine is still disguised as Belial's lair. Yeah. You never know. And, last month, I expressed a lot of optimism about the licensing department of Bergen Board. The chin looks like an eye, like Wade's weak point. God, it could be. That'd be a pretty obvious weak point. But that'd be pretty funny. It could be. But do the sorcerers have those kinds of weak points anyway? And I'm still very optimistic about that licensing thing. I think we are gonna get Zatch Bell announcements sooner or later. And even if we get announcements of, Italian, French, Russian, I don't know. I want to pick a language from a different part of the world. Farsi, translation of Zatch Bell. I'll still be very excited. It's just going to be really nice to know that, Wig's core was in his chin. Yeah, right. It's going to be very exciting to see Zatch Bell around the world. So even if it takes a while for us to get another English release, which could be, a UK-based one or a United States-based one, still going to be super exciting. And then in the future, who knows what the future might hold for Zatch Bell in other forms of media. We all know that all we know is that Raikou said they were getting a lot of licensing inquiries, and I find it very hard to believe that none of those would have been for an English release, even though the two biggest English manga publishers are not options anymore. This is the time when I'm gonna let my optimism flag fly and say it's gonna get there. French already has it. Oh, I guess they probably did a full release back with the original series, right? Still could be a new one. They still could do a new one. Where's Zatch Bell 2? How about that? Yeah, Italian, Hindi, obviously huge Hindi-speaking audience for the series, so that would be great to see for them. But I think that is all we have for this month. Can't wait to see the Volume 4 cover. I kind of don't think we're going to see a little preview spell for it, like we did with the Thunder Dragon Egg, which, every month that goes by without seeing that thing is just hilarious. And now Tia has her weird little thing, the staff, on her cover too. I don't think we're going to see a spell for Brago, but it should look awesome. Still, the volume covers revealing are always a big event. So, can't wait for that. And hopefully I'll see you next month. If not, if there's a break, then probably by the next time I stream Zatch Bell 2, there probably will be some big announcements that have happened by then. I think within 2 months. Hopefully that's enough time for someone somewhere to put something together. But with that said, it's Saturday. Y'all enjoy the rest of your Saturday nights. I am going to. And thanks for watching again. Have a good night. Sorry about that thumbnail. That was sorry for anyone who